Hey folks, I'm Chris Salisbury. I'm one of the owners here at Southern Motor Company, and I'm a huge car guy. But one vehicle I've had for many, many years, I bought it personally, it's actually registered to me, is my 81 DeLorean. I saw it many years ago at 48.5, nice pipe or cracked pipe, listed on Jalotnik's website or story. I read it, actually located the car, bought it. I think I paid around 41 for the car, maybe 39, 40, somewhere thereabouts. Shipped it, had it for a few years. We're gonna drive it a little bit. We're going to go through the quirks of the car, the good, the bad, the few things you might want to do, things I've done. The frequency valve works like it should, the cold start relay, the warm-up regulators, everything works as it should. You'll see fuel pressure. I have one of the old, John Hervey passed away maybe a year or so ago, and he had and other folks have probably done them, but he has the, it's an inline with the banjo fitting hook up fuel pressure, unless you know what your fuel pressure is while you're at the car without having to actually hook an actual gauge to it. Because this is my second DeLorean. The first one got driven a lot. I had more time, I enjoyed that car. The second car, I enjoy it just fine, but DeLoreans over the last few years, their hype's got even stronger. And it really can't go anywhere without people stopping, asking you about Back to the Future. I can't tell you how many Back to the Future gifts I get. Back to the Future toys. Back to the Future toys. I got the model on my desk from a client. More Back to the Future stuff. Back to the Future 2. This won't have anything to do with Back to the Future, although yes, the car did help. It did help the movie, and the movie did help the car. I've always been one of those when someone goes, oh, Back to the Future. No, the car came many years before the movie. Yes, it helped boost it, but to me when I was a kid, I don't know, maybe 12, 13. To me, I knew what it was even as a 12-year-old. I knew it was something one day hopefully I'd afford. We're gonna get rid of some myths about the doors, and is the car slow? Not really. Is it fast? No, not really either. Nor is a 1981 Corvette at the same time. People say they're heavy. They're not really all that heavy. They push it around the shop just fine. Whenever I want to put the car in neutral and move it along without having to crank it in the shop. How people think the doors. Look at me, I'm a karate kid. No, people think the doors are, how do you have enough space? Actually, I think they only open up about 9, maybe 10 inches from the door sills, where a traditional car is probably 2 or 3 feet. So I'm probably rambling on here a little bit, but I want to provide everybody with a good video, a good story of maybe the basics of how I got the car, what I've done to the car, just the basics. So whoever wants to give me, in the 40s for this 1981 model car, they have the best information they can, because I would like the kind of information I'm about to give y'all. I would have liked to have had that years ago when I got this car, even my very first one, definitely my first one. I think I paid $17,000 or $18,000 and spent $10,000 making it a good daily driver. I drove it for years. This could be a daily driver if somebody wants to. I just choose not to use it as such. I've kind of become I don't think the word's a curator, almost a protector of the car. And any folks who have these cars, we kind of look as like protectors of carrying on John DeLorean's legacy of what he created. You've had Preston Tucker. You've had John DeLorean, Bricklin. He kind of imploded himself, I think. You had the Bricklin car. All these cars over the years that have come and gone because the Detroit, Ford, Chevrolet, they're just hard to compete with. Tesla has kept with them. I'm very proud of them. We keep Teslas. I love a Tesla. All those cars that are gone, Bricklin's still around a little bit. People know of them. But DeLorean has just been this car that people have been so attracted to. And it's the movie. It even had a stint in The Wedding Singer. People want to use it for. I've let my car get driven and moved for some weddings. It's just whenever it goes somewhere, it attracts so much attention because it's so unique. But as a DeLorean owner, and there's plenty of people who are DeLorean owners who are going to probably watch this video. They have, we have to care for it. Someone created something. He's not around any longer. He died in 08. He created something that didn't go exactly as planned. Here it is, years later, still being looked at as a car that just came out yesterday. Take a ride with us. No fanfare, no crazy explosions. No, we're not talking about cocaine. We're not talking about the FBI. We're not talking about Back to the Future anymore, although I piled a whole bunch of stuff on my desk. We're just talking about the car that I've had for years, and I want it to go to a good home. This might give you some feedback or some knowledge about the car in general that maybe other folks won't tell you, or they don't even know. You know, there's a huge community. Join the Facebook groups. I think I'm a member of DeLorean owners and I think DMC 12 owners. There's a few out there. DeLorean Owner Association. Those guys are they're all helpful. Good guys. A lot of funny stuff. But so many things we find. You know, people will pull their headliners down to redo them, and they'll find what we call cave art. You'll have, you know, people who signed them in Ireland when they were on the assembly line. You know, the guys got done with the car and they'll put their initials. John DeLorean is known to have walked by a lot of these cars and just sign his name. I have not pulled the headliners down on this car because they're nice and they're not needing a replacement. Maybe he signed it, I don't know. But it's actually called cave art. So, but I'll go over some basics, but appreciate you guys, and let's take a tour. Hey folks, one thing I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna crank this car up ice cold. It's been sitting here for probably a week, maybe 2. I do my best to come out, crank it up once a week. I'll actually take it over the lot, move it around, put it back in its spot. Sometimes it sits there. Most of the time it sits where the ZR1 is sitting at. The goal is to not get flat spots on your tires. These cars I do drive, this one sits more than anything. But what I'm gonna do is show you guys the video of the car starting up cold. I'm actually gonna go over to the headers, to the turbos. I'm gonna put my hands down there and show you it's cold, and I want you to see that the frequency valve is working as it should. Cold start, warm up regulator, all that stuff's doing as it should on a cold start. These are things that, as a DeLorean owner and buyer, when you start getting into these cars, why is my car running like crap? Why is it not running like it should? Why is it sputtering? Why won't it take gas? Things of that nature. We start learning as we join forums, or actually I've had them since before we had the internet. We're talking to folks like John Hervey, the guys at PJ Grady, Stephen Wynn, James Espy, great folks over at DeLorean Motor Company. We're a big family, you know. So a lot of the stuff's already been done, has been done, but I want you to see the car starting up currently, ice cold. I'll pull it out, show some basic features, show you a couple quirks, a couple things that I haven't done, or you know, if you want to do it yourself, you can. But come on. Now what I did was behind the back seat is where your battery is, and I have a spot where I just kind of reach behind the flap door, actuate the power. Temperature's on cold, right? Temperature's cold. Now, for those who notice, a long time ago, for whatever reason, I couldn't get into my lock. It wouldn't release for me. So I had to kind of push down the grates, get in here, loosen the unit. When I got done though, I just left it off. This stays down, this pulls down, and locks in place. It never really goes anywhere. You gotta pull it up. So I just did away with the whole unhook the latch, where you have to pull back here to pop this latch up. I do have all the parts that'll go with it. They'll come with the car. I just never put them back in place. We're gonna see this rise in a second. This is the it's on board, if you will. It's the fuel pressure gauge. My hands are down here. I'm on the headers. I'm on the turbos. This car it's cold. It's completely cold right now. I'll open that up a little later. Once the car is warmed up, you'll see the fuel pump pumping like it should. But this is completely cold. Don't give it gas or fuel injected. Put it in neutral. Oil pressure 0. Volts are slowly climbing. That's actually uncommonly fast. So I'm gonna turn off again. That was actually very fast. I didn't even get a crank, did I? Oh, now I loaned this out to a friend, really just for pictures and for him to drive off in. I just did plugs in it last week. That might be why it's firing right up. It smelled and felt a little rich, and I also didn't want any problems. So the night before, I actually did new plugs. It took me about a half hour to 45 minutes to knock them out. Yeah. Sitting around 900, 800. Hunting a little bit. It should stop in a little bit from hunting. That was a good hunt there. Headlights, blinkers all work as they should.